Failed with major repairs. Technical repair report for bidding. Restoration with permit by a fully licensed vendor. Engineer oversight. 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in lieu of a load test. Load test still may be required by the AHJ.
Fire escape engineers, inspection summary video. This is Inspector Ivy. We're over here at the Hamilton House on, I believe, 9 Chestnut, Salem, Mass. This is a masonry brick 3-story building. It's actually a function hall, so they do have assemblies here. The doors are working. I've tested them. They do have proper signage. However, there is no exterior light on this system, and the other system is missing its exterior lighting. As far as the system goes, this is a pass-fail test. It's a pass-fail inspection. And, I photographed my way up now, and now I'm at the top. I'm just going to do a video talking about some of the findings of this inspection. It's an original. Most of this fire escape is 100% original. The date, it's got to be over 100 years old. We have punch-through railings, pre-existing. I'd say I have a tape measure here. I believe these rails are about 32 inches. Being pre-existing. Let's see if we can get this. So not even. We got about 30 inch rails. They are punch-through construction, very old. You can see this is actually really good construction. Nothing can really go wrong here. It's a punch-through solid rod through this peg and everything together. We do have some original treads here. There have been a lot of repairs done over the year. I don't know about a lot, but there's definitely been repairs and maintenance done here. 1 second, let me just stop my phone. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the good things and some of the bad things that I found. So we have here some major spalling going on. I've seen some rust pack, visible rust inside here, but you can see a repair. Someone's come and they welded a tab on and they anchored it in. Originally we had some embedded brackets in the wall here. Someone's come and put a shelf underneath. They've anchored with some wedge anchors. I think it looks like a 4x6 angle up against the wall, trying to pick up some of this load. However, these were definitely some, I would say, unsupervised repairs, inadequate repairs. You can already see that these expansion anchors are feeling. They're pulling out of the wall. This is definitely suspect. I can see evidence of rust behind here that's eating away at these embedded brackets. They only put the cleat over on this side. They didn't continue it to the last bracket. And the brackets are not unified. They're just individualized brackets. The only thing really unifying them would be the grating, which is held together with some compression clips. Excuse me. Here you can see some of the maintenance that's been done, which is good because all fire escapes must be maintained and painted. And this fire escape does have more paint than rust, but at the time this thing is definitely due for a paint job. We do have a lot of surface rust starting to pop up. You can see all the original the repair bolts that were put in have lost their paint and they're starting to get surface rust. Still have a lot of original bolts left behind. We have riveted treads, and the treads going down, and we have, the repairs were definitely inadequate. They were not consistent. So these were riveted treads, and what they did is they bolted all the treads on one side coming up until they ran into an obstruction and then just stopped. So the top 4 treads have no reinforcement. However, they do not have any visible rust jack, and there's no life safety concerns. But this hardware is only 20, 50 to 100 years. I mean, that's a long time for this stuff, even if it has been taken care of. So I do have a couple examples down below of rust starting to get inside. We have rusty tears coming from underneath. So rust is starting to go internal, although it's not jacking the tread. Let me make my way down and I'll show you some examples of the repairs that I was talking about. So here's some original hardware on the brackets. These are embedded and they're sitting on this shelf here that they've added to try to pick up some of the load with these new anchors. But you can see they're already starting to fail, that they're already pulling out. The masonry can't handle it. You really need some through bolts on this thing. But this is just a pass fail. So we're just going to keep on moving. I'll show you some of the other deficiencies. Get some spaces here starting to pop on these old treads. You can see they get jacked. The rust eats inside the threaded rod. It's just a rod that goes through the front to the back. It's bent on both sides, keeping these flats in. And then they got a bolt in the front tying it to the clip. Heavy material loss on these clips. Very old, original stuff. You can see some of the bolts have already started to pop from some rust. The head's already popped off there. At this time, I won't be able to pass these the step treads for this. You can see where someone's tried to do some repairs where it was convenient for them. They added some bolts in the middle, but they didn't continue up with them. They stopped right at the roof and they didn't hit the other side either. Maybe the other side wasn't as bad, but it's definitely got some rust coming in there. You can see some holes that they've drilled out, but they never put hardware in. Yeah, we got another one. They started drilling, but then they stopped. So yeah, these are just totally inadequate repairs that someone did try to come here and do. Here I'll show you some examples of some replacement treads. Some of them are welded in. However, the welds now have rust because they weren't caulked on top. Here the angle cleat has no caulking between the buildings, so we got water penetration. You can see the original bracket here sitting on top. It does have a weld underneath that it is welded to, but again it should be either embedded or a through bolt, not an expansion anchor holding this whole thing up. So if the masonry starts, and you can see that it's not even picking up these ununified brackets, it's grabbing these two, which is carrying the load mostly of this steer, but the bottom of this steer, although it's held at the top, is just landing on that unsupported bracket that's original. You know, so I definitely think this thing needs some engineer oversight, some further investigation. You can see that we did get some new bolts here holding up this stringer. Get some very thin material here. This is 1/8. Oh, let me see, is it 1/8? I think it might be 1/16. I got an 1/8 there on the tape. So it's adequate, it's just not going to last a long time. We have an anchor here. Definitely need to get some sort of silicone or sealant in there. There's definitely water getting back into the envelope of the building. Try to show you some of the rot on these treads, the rusty tears. You can see water's penetrating through. Rust has gone internal, and what it'll do, it'll eat these welds from the inside out. So we definitely need to either load test these or negate them by putting a simple bolt through them. But we definitely have water penetration, so stuff's going to either need to be, depending on the AHJ, load tested or negated with a bolt, or the city will have to sign off with an opinion affidavit. But at this time, I'm going to have to feel this system for rust in the connections, original hardware, and lack of maintenance. Even though it does have maintenance, it is lacking. Here you can see some more broken bolts, some rust. No, I'm sorry, that's just cement, but definitely want to get that off there. It's going to trap snow and ice and speed up the corrosion process. Punch through rail, another one at 30 inches, pre-existing, but just make a note of that for the HJ. We do have some cover here, small roof, wood roof. I did look at that, and it looks like it's had some work done to it recently. I see new bolts in it. Although it is missing some of the original anchors, you know, it's got a wind load on it, so I recommend replacing the bolts that have popped. First I thought it might just be that I didn't add the bottoms, but it's all over the place. There's a few here and there missing. So we're going to have to get those bolts back in before that falls down and hurts somebody. So that's going to conclude the walkthrough inspection.
Load test still may be required by the AHJ. Failed with major repairs. Technical repair report for bidding. Restoration with permit by a fully licensed vendor. Engineer oversight. 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in lieu of a load test. Fire escape issues. Photos represent what the violations are, not where they are or how many exist. Pass-fail inspection, not technical repair report.